Very pleased today to have a guest for you, Miss Julie Teed, owner of Refuel Total Fitness in Newark, New York. I've known Julie for quite a while, back in our California days when we were both members of the same Gold's Gym, and I actually had the pleasure of training her for a time. And now she's back in her home state and doing some amazing things. And we're so lucky to have her and dive deeper into what she has going on. Julie, say hi to everyone for us, please.
Hi, how are you? Good to be here. Thanks, Kevin.
How long have you owned Refuel Total Fitness, and how did that come into play? Like, you never talked before about, hey, I want to own a gym one day or something like that, and then all of a sudden you like, I just got bought this gym. So what happened with that?
Well, so everybody's got those dreams in their head from, when they're a kid or whatever, that we didn't think that it would ever happen. So why bother pursuing it? And that was one of my dreams of always holding and having a gym. But I didn't know enough about it to even pursue, and I knew the equipment was going to be super expensive, and it was just not going to be a feasible thing. So I just went about my own life, and when I moved back from California to New York, I went to a gym, but it was the only one in the area, and it was okay, but they had classes. So I went to a couple of classes, and then they got rid of the classes. And so now it was just all the gym, and that was it. And that's fine, but I really liked the connection with people, even if you don't like really get to know people, you're around people and they're doing the same thing. And it was just another way to do cardio instead of the same old thing on the treadmill or the elliptical, or the same thing. So I finally found another place, and that was going into COVID uh, era, and they had just opened their 24-hour gym. They were doing classes, and that's mainly what I went for, was the classes. And but we all had to wear the masks. They were just coming back into play, and so and I had no idea that this lady was wanting to sell her business. It was just a thing, and I started teaching in silver sneakers classes with her, and then I started. I became a personal trainer under her, and then she's like, "Hey, so do you want to buy a business?" And I'm like, "No." That was my first reaction. But so I was like, later on, and I talked to my husband, and I was like, later on, I was like, so what exactly are you talking about here? So let's talk about it. And so she gave me the information, and we purchased at the end of 21, December of 21, and we only had 34 members, which
Wow.
was not a lot. But I'm happy to say we've been doing good since then. We have now 650 members, and I'm going into my fifth year. This December will be year number 5. So I'm excited about that. But there's been so many changes and so many things, and I feel like I'm never out in the gym. I'm always in my office. So there's a struggle there, but it's a good struggle in the way. So
That's
I'll
amazing.
tell you.
Yeah, I'm having managed a Gold's Gym for like 8 years. There's so many moving parts going on, and it's just walking behind the front desk for the first time and seeing the gym from the other side. It was like a whole different world of things that you now had to be responsible for and worrying about and become a part of. And so that's cool. Then for you to manage that through COVID, because a lot of places did make it through COVID. And I remember you had different things that you were doing at different times. Like you had a strong pickleball thing, and you had some issues with some floor, and
Oh yeah.
but place that has, from everything I've seen and heard from interacting with your members, this community that's there, and an energy that's there where people like it and belong. And that's so huge, because I've been in a lot of different gyms, and you can have pristine equipment, but just no interaction, or no one really feels a part of it. And then some of the best places are just everyone belongs. They feel like they belong. They feel like they're welcome. They feel like it's a home for them, and they look forward to going there. And it looks like you've built that kind of place. And congratulations to you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It was pretty established for the most part with the classes. It wasn't established so much for the 24-hour gym when I took it over. And the way that we had it set up at the other location that we were at when I purchased, it was kind of off the grid. So the people in the 24-hour gym didn't see the people in the group fitness and vice versa. So I really wanted to be able to uh, combine that so people would see what was going on. So right now, we just moved into this facility almost a year ago. February 1st will be a year. And it's all open. There's no doors on the group fitness room. There's no doors on the 24-hour gym, so they can see what's going on both ends, and they can hear the music. They can hear the people. And it's so far I haven't had too many complaints about it. and But like it's really nice to be able to see the interaction between the two people, because they walk right through the middle of the gym, right to the back of the room where the group fitness room is. And and sometimes, people will be like, hey, what's going on in there? And we're like, this is what's going on. Here's our class schedule, and the descriptions are on the back, etc. You're welcome to try a class for free. So we try to get people in and just, like, hey, your first class is free if you want to try it out. And maybe you'll want to join. Maybe you don't. That's okay. Maybe you want to drop in a couple other times, but maybe somebody else will be interested. So we try to make everybody feel comfortable here, no matter what size they are, what shape they are, what color they are. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to anybody else in here. We're not judging and not standing in the back of the room, watching what's going on over here and going, you know, it's not that type of gym. We try to encourage everybody to do the best they can, and if they have any questions, to feel free to ask anybody. So we try to let them know that ahead of time. And so far it's been good. We haven't really had too many problems here, which is, thank God. I'm going to knock on wood. But you know we've got some police officers that come here, some a lot of different members here. We have military people that come here, and a lot of times, if something's going shady, people will be like, "Hey, do you know this person, or do you know that person, or this is what's going on?" And but it's very rare. So I'm really proud of the fact that we could keep that the community together, and we're trying to do more in the outskirts of the community as well. So like, we do hold silver sneakers classes, we take insurance here. So not a lot of gyms do that anymore because it's a lot of red tape. But
Wow. Yeah.
I figure this much: if they're getting a free membership and they see what's going on here, and they think about their what they're doing, they're be more in their core. So they want to uh, do personal training, and a lot of them have. They'll purchase five, or sometimes they'll do one or two. So
Yeah, that's cool because everything gets to be cross promotional. Because if someone's there just for the weight area and they see group exercise classes, oh, what's going on with this? And even if they're not thinking about it for themselves, they may think, oh, gee, my wife or my girlfriend, my boyfriend, they may like that class, and because there's an extra energy. Whereas if you don't see those things, you don't know what's happening. And that's one thing about the gym and the health club industry is the power that a group exercise class can have to draw more people into it. And you get some rock star instructors in there. Now everyone wants to just be a part of it, and it just grows and grows and expands and expands. And people love community, so they wind up bringing their sister or their coworker or their neighbor or someone like that. And that's why, the more you've grown, the easier it's going to be to grow even further now, because you have all these walking advocates of the place and what you do.
yeah.
How many square feet is it actually?
um, how many square feet?
Yeah.
The total gym, the group fitness room is 2,200 square feet.
Wow.
We the whole facility is just under 7,000 square feet.
Okay, cool. And so it's because I've seen gyms that and been in where they're so big and you can just get lost. And then some of
Mhm.
them they're just you just have obviously have to have the right size for the number of members you have. And the way yours is set up, it's a 24-hour gym, so people can come in at different climes, and there's not always staffing there. So people that want to come in real early and get their weight workout in or whatever, and it could be 4:30 in the morning before they go to the gym, and Julie doesn't have to be at the front desk for that because Julie's got to be there later on to do some other stuff, and so that makes it effectively larger than it is because it's not like everyone's coming at once. Whereas, for example, when we were at ISK and go there, and the whole community of that gym would come at certain hours throughout the day, and this place is like overrun, and then other times there's a ghost town in there, and that just wasn't sustainable. So what you have is it's pretty nice. And I did see that you guys also do stuff with the community, like you have CPR classes and you have women's self-defense classes and some other community events that you try to do. Tell us about some of those and why you felt they were important to have at your facility.
Well, we do have an AED machine here too, and it's out in the open. So just in case, but if it's a 24-hour gym, not everybody knows how to use that. And
Yeah.
it's a good thing that it's self-explanatory because it talks to you. But um, I, we talked to Wayne County EMS, and they offered to do a free class for anybody that wanted to do it. And so we're like, that's amazing because there's more people in this world. Do you need a certification? No, but it's good to know if what if you're in a situation where you need to do something and you don't know what to do. So it's always good to know. It's always a good refresher too for even us because we even though we have to be certified, thank God we haven't had to use it. But if you don't use it, you kind of lose it too. So if you're not constantly in that situation, you forget things. And so it's always a nice thing to have, and they're willing to do more, which is great. Um, the people that wanted certifications, it was $10. I'm like, I can't even believe that price,
Wow.
but they're like, that's what they wanted to charge. I'm like, okay,
Cool.
I don't need one, but I wish I did.
Yeah, really, really.
um, but like that, and then the self defense class. One of the teachers to do that is a good friend of mine that he had closed his martial arts business and over like after 26 years, and that was a sore subject for him, but he's been doing I accumulated some of his equipment in order to do some different classes, and because I'm very partial to kickboxing, I like to hit bags and kick them. If it saves my husband in the long run, but we accumulated that information or that stuff, and so periodically he'll do a self defense class, and a
Cool.
lot is we had some of our silver sneakers people come. Um, we've had all kinds of all kinds of people come to some of these classes, and I think it's important for people to know how to protect themselves and be aware of their surroundings. So.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys had like a grand opening. Was that last summer or something like that? I remember you had some big event community and
Yeah, we had so when we rented this building, we brought two other people that are renting in front of us. And so we kind of did a combined grand opening, all three of us, and we had the assemblymen come, and I got a certificate, which is kind of cool. I don't know why, it sounds just cool. But
cool.
it was just nice to let people know we had a chicken barbecue, and but it was nice to let people know that hey, we're in a new location now. Come and see what we have, and we had a lot of vendors here as well. So a lot of people came in and out of this place, and I think that last year when we moved in here in February, you know how everybody's the New Year's resolution. It didn't stop for us until May, and
Wow.
I was like, amazed by that, but I was also so excited because I made the right decision. We're in a good place. We're in a good location. All of those things, because when you go to a new location, you don't know what the building's going to be like. You don't know what the landlord's going to be like. You don't know what the gas and electric is going to be like. All of those things, and so we were like, I have no idea if I'm going to be able to afford this, but we did it, and we're doing really good. So.
Cool. And like for people to get a better understanding, because you also train people during the day, and I know you had a new software system put in as far as check-in system, and so describe some of the things that you've learned or had to deal with that you've grown through over the past few years that you didn't expect or like surprised you or like you like let people know that yeah you can survive these things, but just parts of your journey that you think are interesting or noteworthy.
So one of the things that comes to mind is right when we purchased in December, everything renewed in January.
Hmm.
I didn't know about half of those things, so uh, found out. I was like, okay, so the music licensing, that was a big thing that I was not aware of, not in this industry before. And I mean, that's pretty substantial for a business that you know, if it's not just a gym and you're doing classes, etc., you have to pay the people that make the music. So
Right.
found that out, and then on top of it, we had a door system already in place at the old play building, but it was very quirky, and it didn't connect to the management system, which I was really hoping that it would do that at some point, but it didn't. So when we moved here, obviously we brought that with us, but it was always in my forefront of my mind that I wanted to connect the two. And right now we're with Push Press. We did go through a couple of different management systems. We were with Glowfox for a little while. Then we went to Gym Master, and then finally to Push Press. And a lot of the changes were because the reporting. If I was trying to do reporting, I couldn't see all the things that I wanted to see, and I couldn't get a good taste of what was going on in my business. So when we went to Push Press, even though we've had some quirks with them as well, um, for the most part, they've been really well. They've been really good to deal with, etc. Um, and there is a way for us to connect to the new door system, which I just bought, um, but this one is it's got AI, it's got a video on the outside, it's got a very nice app that people are like, oh, this is so nice. And you're like, yeah, it ought to be. But some of those upgrades, I try to do since I bought the business, every little penny that I can save or upgrade some piece of equipment, or if somebody suggests, we have a suggestion box out of the front desk, like, hey, what do you guys want to see? What do you want to hear? What do you want to, like, do I have the things that you are looking for? If I don't, I need to know. I can't fix it if I don't know. So if something's broken, I need to know about it. But I try to get on top of it as fast as I can. Um, and sometimes I just buy things that I think we need, and then people are like, "Oh, I really appreciate that." Blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Okay, well, good. I'm glad it worked out." But
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that you don't think about. The wear and tear on things, and people are very particular when it comes to what they're used to using and what they need to use, etc. I've got a lot of people that think that they can't do glutes without a glute bench. And I'm like, glute. Who
Yeah,
can
really.
without it's just another piece of equipment that does the same thing. So yes, there's a lot of things that are like you got to pick and choose what's going to benefit, what the benefit cost is, and I've learned to do that a lot. in the last few years. Is like, is this going to kill me to not have this? Is it going to kill me to have it? What's going on? So you really have
Yeah.
to prioritize some things and let people know. Listen, we had, so the back room, our group fitness room was, we had we had to buy a couple of air conditioners for this building because it wasn't cooling down as much as possible. We bought some more fans. Um, and once the winter hit, the back room got really cold. So it's nice and cool in the summer, but still nice and cool in the winter. So we had to buy a small heater for that. Uh, but once again, it's a, are we satisfying the people that are going, and are we doing it the best ability that we can? So
That's really cool, and this things that people don't think about or take for granted if they're a member of a gym or facility, and like before, it's like you have like humidifiers or something like that because if in your group exercise class, if that's everything's fogging up in there, so these all these little things that you're learning as you go, as well as price points for memberships. Like people think, oh, they're just trying to gouge me. It's like you got to look at, okay, what's the best price point for the value that we're given so that we can keep the doors open and make a pro and do the things we want to do and expand the way we want to expand. And should I be leasing these things, buying these things as far as equipment goes, and just so many moving parts that you become a part of the place. And that's what I want to ask you next, because so like where does Julie end and begin as far as this, because you have all those things going on that you're immersed in, and then you have to like, and then you have clients that you have an appointment with, and also you have a training staff as well, like Kathy, and then when you walk out that door, you have a family, but are you really mentally out the door, and able to do your thing? So like, how have you found that kind of balance, or is that still work in progress? Which I'm betting it is still a work in progress.
it still is a work in progress. I mean, when we first started, I was here until, the last person left, basically. The end of classes, 6:30 at night, 7:30 at night, depends. And I was still teaching my classes outside of the gym. So I was teaching, like 8 classes a week. And then I had, I don't know, not too many clients. Like I had probably 4 or 5 clients at the time, but I just didn't have the time to do anymore, because I had other things that I had to account for. I have to do my accounting. I have to do my all of those things that nobody likes to do. Well, some do, obviously, but I didn't want to be there, and I'd love to be outside instead of in my office, but the place wouldn't run if we didn't. So there's that. So I do find that I have a little bit more freedom right now, um, to be able to leave. We've hired a couple of young guys that want to work part time. So they come in, like Noah is going to be coming in tonight at 4 o'clock, and he'll work until 7. Um, and just to give us a little break, because if Kathy and I are here all day long and then we get a rush of people, we can't train people and answer the phone at the same time or help the next person that comes in the door. So I have to have somebody else on staff to be able to do that. And being a small business, I can't always afford to have somebody here all day long, especially when there's a real dead period. There's times where there's nothing happening. So we had a snowstorm Sunday, and I was here Monday, and it was deader than a doornail until 4 or 5 o'clock at night. So, and then a few stragglers came in, but it was like, what am I going to give somebody to do for 8 hours, and if there's nothing there to do? So, but I have, and my husband's kind of knows the game now. But it was pretty tough there in the beginning because I was constantly working. And so, but as like I said, I have a little bit more freedom now. I can leave and come back, and they can always get a hold of me. And I do my best. I have my computer at home, or I've got my laptop. I can bring that with me wherever I go. Most of the stuff I can do on my phone, which is nice too. So our push press like I have on my phone. I have the door system on my phone, so I can do that on the fly, which is good. Um, but it still is hard to take time away for yourself to do your own workouts, to do your own, like it's either here or at home. So I like to go and do something, but that's still a struggle. But we're gonna get through it. It's fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing because you're trying to serve people whether they show up or not. They have a membership, so that they have to have that opportunity, that option of showing up. And it's one thing to get a member; it's another thing to keep a member, and for how long you keep them, and keep them happy to the point of, hey, this place is great, and then they're a long-standing member who's bringing in other members, and so that's what you're building and growing now. So you get to that point where you're turning the corner, and then there's enough people coming in where it's sustaining itself, and then you can kind of like, okay, I don't need to be here this day. Someone so has it, or I can, you get to that point. But the tough part is getting that rocket ship off the ground, which is where you are now. And if you've done that, and now you're like, now it's just growing it and scaling it and picking up momentum and staying with the quality of it. And like you said, you're trying to make sure everything's working the way it can and the best it can, as opposed to sometimes that's a better option than always trying to add more things and then have all these different moving parts and you're not really sure what's helping you and what's not. It's like, what do I really need? What do I not need? What can we really get away with? And I'm sure that would have been a tough thing to do if this was your fourth or fifth gym, let alone your first gym. So congratulations on doing that. And do you guys do like any kind of corporate memberships? Are you doing more outreach to bring in more people, or like from the community, or from the outstanding area as far as your marketing and like, because another you have to wear so many hats, and it's just the day-to-day management and keeping people happy and then training, and then I start you're trying to market and grow. So what's that like for you as far as just not just letting people know that you're there, but also bringing in more people and growing that part?
So I can tell you I am not a technical person. So I have to let somebody else do that marketing stuff. I try to do the best I can. But we do have a couple places that do a commercial. You know, we have one of our local businesses here that a lot of, like, I think the 18 of their members come here, or staff. And so I give them a special rate for that, as long as, and they're doing it for 6 months. So they pay me once a month for 6 months and we're good to go, whether they come or not. And we used to do it with the school system, a couple of different school systems, and it kind of fell through the wayside. And I'm not sure if it's because the community or the district just didn't want to pay for it, or if their funds were low, or what. I don't know what, but we weren't making it was more of an outreach. It wasn't a moneymaker on our end at all. So um, it it kind of worked out the way it was supposed to work out anyways. But I am uh, trying to reach out to possibly do a 5K this year, sponsoring a 5K. We do some stuff with a local. They call it the Laurel House. It's where people go to pass away, and but they do a lot of 5Ks already. So that's pretty big around here. But I'm thinking about possibly doing the Murph, and hosting the Murph challenge here for a lot of the CrossFit members.
Cool.
That's always something that has been in my mind, and a lot of people have asked me if we have an area to do that. So that may be the next, because I can't sit still. I have all these ideas that I want to do, and I just can't sit still. So it's probably going to happen at some point. It's just I have to get my husband on board with that too. I stress him out quite a bit for this, but it's all right. He'll
So
live
that
through.
I'm sure he's thriving through it. But so what's because I know some gyms after COVID, like for example, out here, the Gold's gyms that we used to work out, the ownership, and then now they're a different brand, but they didn't even bring back group exercise, because they were so long established and they had a base of members just want to come in and do the training thing. But I think that's that costs a lot of people, but that to me, that's so much energy and such a selling point. So, like, what kind of different classes, group exercise classes, do you guys have there at your facility?
We have Pilates, we have yoga, a couple different instructors for yoga. We have a movement and mobility class. We have a boot camp. We have a HIIT class. We have a Zumba class. We have silver sneakers classes. We have an ab class. We call it crunch time at lunchtime, and it's only like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but you know, you get it in, get it done, and you're on your way out. So that's we have our cardio kickboxing class, and that's on Sundays. And we had just this past weekend, we had a free trampoline class. We only had 10 spots, but that was pretty full as well. And so um, there's a lot of there's a lot of opportunity. It's just not a lot of instructors to do it. That's one thing that we've run into as well out here, is that we're in an area where it's we're either pulling from the city, which is 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes away, depending on where they're at.
Mm.
And so you have to pay them a certain price to get them to come here. So that's a different thing as well. And we also have the silver sneakers classes too. So we do that. We have a chair yoga class. There's a lot of classes. It's just a matter of when the time. Everybody wants that sweet spot of 5:30 p.m. every day. But they can't all have it. you
Yeah.
got to you got to prove to me that you're gonna do what you need to do for that 5:30 class. So but it's a work. I think we're a good team here. When I first opened up and started the business, I asked all the girls, the instructors that were here already. I said, "Listen, I've never been in this business before, so I'm gonna need all the help I can get." So, and I'm gonna try to communicate with you as long as you're gonna communicate with me, and we'll work together to hopefully get this up and running. So, and that's what I keep trying to do, is I got an open door, like I hate that saying of I got an open door policy, blah, blah, blah. But I do, like people know that I have wine in the back of my fridge here. you know, um, there's those days where you're just like, you know what, I need a glass, or you offer it to somebody else, and they're like, wow, this is a gym. This is this owner is kind of cool, but at the same point, you're like, okay, well, don't get too comfortable with that. But you know, I try to have
Cool.
fun. It comes in here, and we joke around a lot, but we're also serious about what the future's holding for us as well. So
Tell us about your personal training program. Like, how many trainers do you have? I know you do it, and Kathy does. Is it just you two? Do you have more people, or
I have, let's see, I have Ethan, Gina, Kathy. I have a Kaylee. Kaylee's at school right now, so she's an athlete. She just did her, what was it? She just did a deadlift of 400 pounds, I think she said. Yeah, yeah, good. she's she's good. But she's going to college, so she was here for a short period of time, and then she's back there now. And then so I have four trainers, including myself, um, and then I have uh, six, seven instructors. Um,
nice?
they're here, once or twice, a week, right? So they do their hour class and then they're gone. So, but we all stay connected. We all stay, in the now. Sometimes we'll even go out and do some line dancing together, wherever, bowling or something like that, just to kind of break it up and get to know each other a little better, and that kind of stuff. So
That's awesome, and that builds that community with you guys, and the togetherness and teamwork, and those things are so important in terms of being able to work together and feeling a part of it, and that you recognize that you're empowering them in way more ways than you probably understand, and that's amazing. So just a couple more questions for you. Um, What, if any, message would you like to give your members who come in every day, and in terms of maybe they don't, some of them I'm sure get to know you a lot, but some of them don't get to know you or see you as much, and what would you like to tell them about you or Refuel or anything else?
Um, I guess what I'd like to just let people know that we're not here to judge anybody. We're not here, looking at what they're doing or not doing. We do try to make sure that they're doing things correctly. But if they ever have any questions about a piece of equipment or whether they're doing something correctly or not, or their nutrition or anything, they want to start something. They want to become a personal trainer. They want to become an instructor. I mean, by all means. I mean, we're always looking. We're always willing to help. I mean, I do have one gentleman. He wants to start teaching um, Muay Thai fighting, and there's a couple of them actually that came in. One of them wants to start doing grappling, and a few other things. And so there's opportunities everywhere. So don't be afraid to ask, or inquire at least. Um, so that's pretty much what I guess. That's it.
Cool. Do you have like
That's all.
do you guys merchandising, so like t-shirts or things like that? Or I know you probably sell bottles of water. Or what the guys do you do? Because I know it's different for you because you got like many different hats that you're wearing. You can't run from the client you're training to go run and sell somebody a water or something. So how is that working for you?
Well, we had bottles of water, and we decided to just go with the 5 gallon bottles of water, and so we have one in the group fitness room, one up front. So it's free for everybody. They can come and fill up their water bottle or whatever. And then we do. I don't have a lot of merchandise right now. We just got rid of all of it. I was trying to get rid of it before the new year, and because I want something different, just something. Because we have a lot of women in this gym, but we also have a lot of men, and a lot of the men don't like to wear the same stuff as the women do. So, and I'm not a guy, so I really don't know what they want to wear. So there's a few things that we're looking at that I want to try and make it a little bit more masculine for the men, and then more feminine for the women, and those types of things. But there's always a cost to that as well. And that can be very expensive. Um, so I'm trying not to hold on to a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs. And how much do I get? How much? So I try to get a couple of different sizes in each thing, and then they order from there. That's how I do it for the last 5 years. So um, until I hit the big bucks, then I'll keep some extra on hand. But that's the way we're gonna roll.
Cool. One more question for you. What advice could you give to anyone that has a fitness-based business, as far as staying true to the journey and what to expect? I know it's a broad question, and that could range from different things, but my experience is so many stops and starts and ups and downs and unexpected things, and we're all at different places sometimes. But if you could say anything in terms of either you're talking to yourself from 5 years ago, or talking to someone else that's either trying to do something and thinking about it, or what would some Judaisms be?
Um, well, there's been many times where I thought about it, and I just can't. I can't throw in the towel, because I've got a vision, and but it may not have the backing for the vision just yet, you know. Um, But I think the biggest part is to ask around, kind of survey what's going on around you and in the community, and ask people what they want. Ask them what they want to see, what they're doing now. Like right now, I'm looking at possibly adding CrossFit to our gym, which means we will have to add more square footage to the building. So, which means there's going to be more money in rent and all of those things. So, it really has to be make sure every part of your square footage is earning money somehow. And so I tell all the people that join here is, when there's no gym, there's no classes going on in the back room, they're welcome to use any of the equipment back there. They want to go back there and they want to, you know, do posing. They want to go back there and hit the bags. Go ahead and hit the bags. Go use there's a TV back there that they can pull up, some YouTube channels on there or whatever exercise programs they can. I had a couple of ladies that would come in the morning and they would do a trampoline class online. And, so every square inch has to have an income at some point. And if it doesn't, and it doesn't make sense to add it. So that's one of the things that I've learned, in the last few years, especially because my husband's very money motivated. I'm very, oh, look at that, it's shiny. So he reels me in a little bit, and this is one of the reasons why he's going to have a heart issue someday. But um, I keep him on his toes. But that's one of the things that I would suggest looking into. And then that's one of the things that I'm trying to figure out as well is it gonna be feasible? Am I gonna be able to pay that rent with that section of people? Do I have to raise the prices? Can I keep them the same? And what else is it going to look like on the bottom line? So I
Awesome,
hate
awesome.
really talking about money because it's not what I'm not geared toward it, but it's a necessary evil, unfortunately, because I got to pay the bills, and if they want to keep coming, I got to do that. So it's a thing.
That's business, and it's bottom line matters. And if there's more going out than coming in, then we're going out. So we have to always be mindful of that. So the last thing, what is your physical address, and then what's contact information for you or the facility, or where people can know more? And I'll put definitely it'll be attached to this video there, but I just want you to verbally tell people that maybe listening while they're driving or just listening on a podcast or something. So where are you exactly located, and what's some of your contact information and socials and stuff?
Sure. So our physical location is 224 East Union Street. We're right next to Dunkin' Donuts. You can't miss us. If you go on to Dunkin' Donuts, you'll find us. We're right next door. And so, but that's also right on Route 31 in Newark. So it's a main road, and you'll go right past this, but you'll see it. We have new window film on the outside of the windows, so you'll see the advertisements of what we do here and our logos and stuff. And so we are refueltotalfitness.com. That has all of our information on there. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. That's about it. I don't know very much about the rest of it.
That's
So
plenty.
until we have somebody that does marketing for us, that's about all we're going to get. So
And yeah, and I'll put some of those links here for people to be able to check you out. But Julie, thank you so much. Continued success to you. Best wishes, and just wanting nothing but the best for you, because I know you as a person, and I know how hard you're working, and not just for yourself, but for your family and your community. And so you deserve everything good to come to you. And I'm so pleased that you were able to spend some time with us today. And thank you very much for that.
thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, Kevin.
And everyone, thank you for checking us out. And I'll be back with some more amazing people, hopefully as amazing as Julie. That'll be tough, but we'll see you next time.
Thanks.